Is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are LA.
It's time for Angels Spring Training Baseball this afternoon from the Peoria Sports Complex. The Angels are on the road as they get ready to take on a San Diego Padres split squad. Back-to-back days, Angels and Padres. We take you inside the Peoria Sports Complex. Terry Smith along with Jose Mota. Happy Easter Sunday to you. We have a glorious day for baseball, Jose. We had a wild game yesterday, that's for sure. A lot of runs were scored in the ninth inning between the two teams in yesterday's ball game. And as we talk some offense, let's get into the leadoff spot for the Angels. That was an area of difficulty, I would say, a year ago.
It was, Terry, but I'm going to start with this leadoff for you. Happy Easter, Terry.
Same
and
to
to
you.
all of you, happy Easter. Have a great one and glorious, as Terry is talking about. But, yeah, you're right, Terry. Think about when fans come to a ball game and they watch your home team, they want to see that first batter immediately show a little energy, get dirty. You know, that type of guy that goes out there and pretty much sets the tone. Usually a guy that's going to be very fast, a guy that's going to be getting on base, and a guy that's going to be a threat and a distraction to the guy on the mound. So the home crowd, of course, appreciates. But what happened last year with the Angels, Terry, it didn't happen. They used 6 different guys. And think about the Angels coming only a game away from possibly qualifying for the postseason, and the leadoff guy just did not have it. We consider the average well below the 269 average in the major leagues. The on-base percentage below 270. The average in the big leagues, 328. The walks were low, and the stolen bases, the average for the number 1 slot in the big leagues was 22 stolen bases. But, Terry, it seems like they have found the right man, and his name is Yunel Escobar. My goodness, he has been, getting dirty. You can see it very quickly in that uniform, and he has been providing the Angels a lot of pop, great presence, and a lot of contact in that leadoff spot here throughout spring training. For Escobar, who last year only led up in 24 games, he's adapted very well. And I think, Terry, we know something from a guy that's a proven big league player that he's not going to change his approach. He's going to go out there and play his game the way he knows how to do it. He hits the ball everywhere, a lot of line drives, career 350 on base percentage, 375 on base percentage last year in front of the MVP in the National League, Bryce Harper. And for sure, he's going to give the Angels and their fans something to remember, because it is all about getting on base for Calhoun, Trout, Pujols, CRON, and the rest.
He has certainly been getting on base and also making contact, which is always a key for a leadoff man. Let's shift to another player that has impressed us so far this spring. Not sure if he's going to make the club, and that's the South Korean. That's Ji-Man Choi.
Well, Ji-Man Choi is making a good case for himself. Remember, because he is a Rule 5, they're going to take a long look at him, but he is not disappointed when it's come down to at least improving his game on the defensive side, showing the Angels some versatility. A little first base. He moves well for a big guy at first base. And with the bat, we've seen him get more and more comfortable after abandoning the idea of becoming a switch hitter, strictly only from the left side. A lot of power, left center field. His swing has improved a lot under Dave Hansen's watch as a hitting coach, because Dave doesn't want him to move around so much in the batter's box. Just go right through the box, helping his case yesterday even more with some solid defense, and also having a very good at bat against a proven lefty in Matt Thornton. If you're going to have somebody come off the bench, Terry, he better play multiple positions, put the ball in play, and get on base somehow.
Well, I think if he makes the team, he'll immediately become a fan favorite in a reserve role. We've seen him play first. We've seen him play left field. We've also seen Hector Santiago a lot this spring. He's done a very good job. I think his stock has moved up this spring as far as the Angels rotation is concerned.
And as you mentioned, too, he's picked up the pace on the mound, which is something that, of course, could affect any pitcher when you're thinking too much. Hector, fastball type guy. He's going to come out here and go right after hitters. He is among the American League leaders this spring in strikeouts. Minimal in terms of walks. Hopefully he will be able to maintain his stuff, the stamina, the performance, and the production first half, second half, and avoid what happened last year, because for sure he becomes immediately a guy Mike Scioscia is going to be depending on a lot. And for Hector, his confidence is always intact, but hopefully after one full year of being a starting pitcher and an all-star, he can go out there and adapt very quickly and give the Angels what they need.
The other thing we've seen from Santiago, he's kind of picked up the pace so far this spring. So the Angels and the Padres get ready to battle for the second day in a row. We'll have the lineups and all the action. It's coming up next on Fox Sports West.
Easter Sunday. Happy Easter to all of you, wherever you might be. Thank you for tuning in here to our simulcast through AM 830 and Fox Sports West from the Peoria Sports Complex. It's the Angels against the Padres. And for the Angels and their starting lineup, it is brought to you by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Johnny Giavotella, designated hitter, will lead off for Mike Socha. Daniel Nava back in the lineup and left field batting second. Mike Trout will make the start, of course, in center field. Trout is batting third. Cole Calhoun, Rojo himself, is in right field batting fourth. C.J. CRON is at first base batting fifth. ANDRELTON Simmons, shortstop, the Simba, is batting sixth. Simmons is at short. Giovanni Soto, Angels catcher, 3 home runs this spring. Soto is batting seventh. Cliff Pennington has been hitting the ball very well, hitting .422. Pennington is at second base batting eighth, and batting ninth, Jeffrey Marte, who is at third base. Marte, corner infielder, playing third and batting ninth. For the Angels on the mound, Hector Santiago, the lefty, no record here this spring, a 3.50 ERA. For the Padres, who also have another squad playing in Mexico City against the Astros, they have Jemiel Weeks at shortstop leading off. Batting second, Melvin Upton Jr. in left field. Batting third is Matt Kemp in right field. Batting fourth is former Rookie of the Year Will Myers. Myers is at first base batting fourth. Batting fifth is Christian Betancourt, their catcher. Hunter Renfroe makes a start in center field batting sixth. Ryan Shrimps is at third base batting seventh. Former Angel Alexi Amarista at second base will bat eighth. And the pitcher will take his turn also with the bat. His name is Andrew Kashner. He is batting ninth for the San Diego Padres. The Angel team with a 14-8 record, 4 ties here in Cactus League action. And for the Padres, 7 wins, 17 losses, and 2 ties here for the squad. So, Terry, it is great. A lot of Angels fans making their way into town, and a lot of them also out of town after this one. The Padres, of course, with their stronghold here, sharing this complex with the Seattle Mariners. And certainly you see a lot of kids on the field. The egg hunt is alive still, and certainly we're having a great time just watching all these families take their turn and sharing this
Happy Easter Sunday.
Absolutely, Jose. We are just minutes away from the start of the action. As far as today's umpires, calling balls and strikes will be Adam Hamari, and on the bases we'll have Adrian Johnson, Corey Blazer, and also Chris Siegel. The dimensions here at the Peoria Sports Complex. Down the lines, it goes 340. Dead center field, it is right around 410, and in the alleys in left center and right center it goes 385. We do have a bit of a breeze blowing out today, so that should help some of the hitters. They give them a little extra lift on fly balls hit to the outfield. Angels have on the red tops and the gray pants. And as far as the Padres today, they have on the dark blue tops and the white pants as we are getting closer to the start of today's action. Angels playing their final road Cactus League game today. We'll have 2 more games at Tempe Diablo. And then, of course, the Angels, after a day off this Wednesday, will get ready for 4 straight exhibition games back in Southern California. The Angels will play on Thursday at Dodger Stadium. Also on Friday, that'll be April the 1st at Dodger Stadium. Angels will play a game coming up on Saturday at the Big A against the Dodgers this coming Saturday. And a week from today, next Sunday, the Angels will take on the Cubs in an exhibition game. And then a week from tomorrow, April the 4th, on Monday, it'll be opening day at the Big A as the Angels will open up the 2016 regular season taking on the Chicago Cubs.
As you talk about the Cubs on opening day, Terry, I was talking to one of the Cubs scouts. It seems like everything is fine with Jake Arrieta, who had to come out of his last start because of a blister issue on the index finger. So it should be lining up like Arrieta and John Lester against the Angels for opening day in the second game of the season.
Certainly think that Garen Richards will be the Angels opening day starting pitcher against the Cubs again a week from tomorrow. So we are just about set for baseball here on this Easter Sunday. Warm day here in Peoria. They say that the temperatures are going to start dropping, though, in the next few days, so it'll cool off a little bit before we leave Arizona. We're set for baseball. Cashner is working from the abbreviated windup, and his first pitch today, it's cut on by Johnny Giavotella, fouled off on the right side for strike 1. Game is underway. 84 degrees today at game time. Giavotella is one of 8 batters in this lineup. 8 of the 9 are hitting 300 or better. Here's the pitch. That's fouled off on the right side, backing out of play.
You're talking about one of the best fastballs for starters in the big leagues in Andrew Cashner. A guy that you get on, you can run on him. 18 quality starts last year for Cashner for the Padres. And certainly hoping to bounce back after a 6-16 record last season.
He will hit 100 miles per hour at times. That's where he'll top out with that fastball. There's a fastball there, a little bit high.
Boy.
1-2 the count.
I thought that fastball, as close as we are to the action here behind the plate, that ball was going to take Bethancourt's glove all the way off.
Here's the next pitch, and that one bounces in for a ball. Cashner has had a pretty good spring. This is his 5th start. His ERA is 2.40. He's allowed only 4 earned runs in 15 innings, striking out 12. Has a good sinker, along with that power fastball. He has a very good slider, pretty good curveball, and changeup. Next pitch, and that one is fouled off of Giavotella's foot or leg right there, and he's in a little bit of pain as he's hobbling around, walking outside the batter's circle.
Johnny giving the Angels a pretty good at bat here. 5 pitches already. Johnny recently, as he takes this one off his foot, was spiked in a rundown by Kendall Graveman of the A's between 2nd and 3rd. He had to get no stitches at all, but the big gash he told me he had on his left forearm close to his wrist.
So here's the next pitch, and he lines one right by the mound. A low line drive single to center field. So Giavotella is on. Daniel Nava will be the next Angel batter.
Just goes out there and gets the job done. 6 pitches, and the job as leadoff hitter done to getting the first base. Now it's up to the rest.
NAVA is stepping up. He's had a very good spring, and it certainly appears that he will, at least at the start of the regular season, get a lot of playing time in left field. Been a spark plug for the Angels, batting a lot out of the number 2 slot so far here in the Cactus League. The pitch, and that one is low and in on the batter, Daniel NAVA.
So glad to see a left field that's producing for the Angels after it was pretty much a black hole last season. Unfortunately, it just did not work out when the Angels acquired Matt Joyce. And the overall, even Terry, you know, we're talking about this in the offseason, the combined production of every player Mike Scioscia threw out there combined was just well below Major League average.
1 ball, no strikes on NAVA. TROUT waits on deck. Cashner's pitch, and that's a fastball a little bit low and away. Cashner is a big guy, 6'6", at around 220 pounds. He's 29 years old. Next delivery, and that one is taken as well, and he's fallen behind here on NAVA. It's 3 balls, no strikes.
NAVA comes in hitting .459, 9 RBIs. It's got a home run. Go back to the Angels left fielders last year. They hit .216 with a .275 on base percentage, 9 home runs and 51 RBIs. Their OPS combined .592.
And on the 3-0, that one misses as well. So NAVA is on, and here comes TROUT with a couple of runners on base. TROUT is hitting over .370 this spring. 3 home runs, and Mike has driven in 13 runs. He leads the Angels in runs batted in, second on the club this spring in homers.
He is really heating up here lately against some good pitching. Long home run a couple of days ago against Chris Sale, and another one against Sean Manaea.
Here's when it's fouled back to the screen. So the count on TROUT, no balls and 1 strike.
As Trout was telling me yesterday in batting practice, now is really the emphasis on getting that foot down. Starts as he sees more pitches, more at bats, and more quality arms as the starting pitchers go a little bit longer here.
Cashner's next pitch. That's hit hard, but foul on the right side. That's way back and out of play. So it's 0-2 on Mike TROUT. Padres have another game to be played today in Mexico City. They have been playing back-to-back days now against the Astros. They were beaten by the Astros yesterday in Mexico City. Here's the pitch, grounded on the left side. Now the reach of the third baseman. That's through into left. That's going to drive in a run. TROUT has another RBI. Angels have a 1-0 lead.
There he goes again, cutting things down with 2 strikes. Mike TROUT, who really has cut down the strikeouts, puts the ball in play on the ground. And for Johnny Givatella, how rewarding to see that at bat. It was a little bit painful come through. Mike TROUT did a great job getting a low pitch, low slider, pretty much sailing out of the zone to barrel it, and also to pull it through the infield was pretty amazing, of course.
So TROUT is on at first. NAVA moved up to second. Givatella scored from second base, and here's Cole Calhoun, who's batting cleanup. And the pitch, that's a ground ball foul on the first base side. The first baseman, Will Myers, stopping it, but it was foul.
Well, Angels offense continues nicely here in Cactus League action. They came into this game hitting .312 collectively, a .373 on base percentage. And for an offense that averaged just over 4 runs per game last season, certainly you need to see an improvement, because Terry is only a year removed from being the team with the best average runs per game in the American League, 4.7.
Here's the next delivery. Calhoun takes outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tomorrow the Angels are back in Tempe to take on the Chicago Cubs. That'll be Nick Tropiano against Kyle Kendricks. Here's the next one, and Calhoun cuts at that one and fouls it off over on the left side, backing out of play.
This has been a pretty regular trend, and it doesn't matter who's been up for the Angels in early spring, mid-spring, now later spring. A lot of threats early in the game. Due mainly because, of course, Escobar has been tremendous as a leadoff guy. Nava gets on base a lot. Trout is Trout. Pujols is healthy, productive, and Cole Calhoun himself has been doing a very fine job.
Here's the next one on Calhoun. Lifted in the air into left field. It's hanging up for Upton. He's under. He'll put that one away. Routine fly ball to left. That's the first out in this ball game, and C.J. CRON will be the next batter. CRON coming in, hitting just a tick under 300. And he's the only batter in the lineup who is batting under 300.
Pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. 296 batting average for CRON. He's homered once this spring. He's driven in 8. Gotten a lot of at-bats, 54 coming into today's game. Here's the pitch, and it's a fastball right in there.
There's 2 batters the Angels have in this ballgame in this lineup that came in hitting over 400. Nava at 459, and Pennington, who's batting 8th, 422.
Here's the next pitch, and CRON takes that one. It just missed.
Seeing Cashner now trying to see if he gets a feel for his changeup. And you can see him shaking his head, just not too happy about how things have gone here, especially in trying to get command of one area of the plate with that fastball. And the Angels have worked him for 19 pitches so far with 1 out.
Next one on CRON, that's inside. So Cashner continues to get behind hitters here in the first inning. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Today's game being brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. That's what a hamburger is all about. Infield at double play depth. Here's the next pitch, and CRON takes that one low and away, so the count moves to 3-1. Cashner trying to find himself here in this first inning. He has not been able to get into much of a rhythm. Here's the 3-1 delivery, and that's fouled back behind the plate. So it's a full count, 3-2. Last time that Cashner was on the mound, he took on the Texas Rangers, worked 6 innings, allowed 7 hits and 2 earned runs. That was a ball game on Tuesday. See what gives here with a full count. There go the runners. The pitch fouled back to the screen. So the battle continues here. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
He has tried pretty much everything. Fastball, slider, different type of fastball. Sometimes he's running in with a 2-seamer. Try the changeup. As the Angels key in to a certain area here. Got to protect the way here.
There go the runners again. The pitch is high, and then the throw to third goes sailing by the third baseman. A run will score. So it's a walk for CRON, and then Betancourt's throw to third. The third baseman made no effort on it at all, and that ball sailed into left. The Angels get a gift run right there. Have them at the corner. Still only 1 out for Simmons.
Betancourt was so emphatic right before that 3-1 pitch a couple of pitches ago on his coverage and what he was going to try to do if the Angels were running. But this one absolutely out of control here as he throws it into left field. And all that pressure adding up now to the catcher himself.
So the Angels up by a pair and looking to get more. Boy, that was a gift run right there. It came on a walk. And the pitch, that is in there for a called strike. Trout over there at third base. throwing error by the catcher, enabling NAVA to score. Trout to advance an extra base in the pitch. Here's one grounded on the right side. That's going to be an RBI hit. So Simmons wastes little time getting into the act, and now it's 3-0 Angels.
So just look at the last 4 games for the Angels, and you go back to Chris Sale, how he cruised through first 5 innings. The Angels got him and tagged him quickly in 1 inning. Go back to Sean Manaea, who has a very healthy arm, one of the top prospects in baseball with the A's, and they tagged him very well. Put a lot of pressure on him. Go to James Shields yesterday, and the Angels pressured him, and here we go once again. And Terry, my next comment will be,
I know what's coming.
It's the regular season, and we want to see more of this in the regular season in terms of good at-bats and productive outs if needed, but certainly the effort and the pressure on the opponent.
You don't want to see the brakes put on this, Jose.
Oh, come on.
I don't blame you.
The game's not going to change.
So the Angels very aggressive this spring. We've talked about it in a lot of different facets of the game. The approach by the batters, the approach by the base runners.
Angels, in fact, looking at the stats, one of the teams that has struck out the least amount of times in all of baseball here in preseason.
There's a pitch that Soto takes for a ball, and Cashner's behind another hitter, 2-0. They had a meeting out at the mound to try and settle him down a little bit.
He was nearing 30 pitches. Next pitch is number 29.
There's the next delivery, and that's tipped foul right by the plate. 2 balls and 1 strike.
That's perhaps our best changeup he's thrown. Got a good feel for that one as it was in on Soto, but the ball had a nice tailored action inside, running in on him.
Here's the delivery, and that's on the outside corner. It's a called strike. So the count level at 2 here against Giovanni Soto, with Cliff Pennington waiting on deck. Here's Cashner's next pitch, and fooled on that one and waving at it, missing it by a mile as Soto struck him out.
Cashner, his catcher Betancourt, his teammates have been waiting for that type of pitch here this whole inning. And it took him 31 pitches to find that outstanding release. The finish and the spin, pretty much unhittable on the break he got on that breaking ball.
So here's Pennington. And here's the pitch. He takes a cut at that one and fouls it back behind the plate. Switch hitting veteran infielder Cliff Pennington.
He surprised a few people here in camp by the ability he's shown to hit the ball far the other way.
Cashner's delivery, a cut and a miss. So for one of the rare times here in this first inning, he's way in front on a hitter. It's no balls, 2 strikes. 33 pitches he's thrown here in the first inning. If the inning continues, Marte, the 9-hole hitter, waits on deck. We're only in the first inning. Already 8 have had an opportunity to dig in here against Andrew Cashner. Here's the next pitch. That's popped up foul back behind the plate. That's going to get back and out of play.
That bullpen for the Padres, as expected, is getting busy already. So Terry, get your roster out.
2-strike delivery on its way. Fouled back again on the left side, out of play. DC tells me that the Padres' other game going on against the Astros in Mexico City, Mexico, San Diego scored 9 runs in the first inning. So that team's faring a lot better than this one. And here's a shot into right center. It's going to drop in, and it's going to score a run. The Angels will have them at the corners. That's an RBI base hit for Pennington, who stays hot. And now the Angels are up 4-0. We're still in the top of the first.
And once again, the Angels spoil a good pitch. Once again, he goes to a changeup. Good job by Cliff Pennington, just covering the middle to the outer half on his approach. Squares it well enough. And all the way around again, we see this offense rolling early in a ball game.
Seen the Angels do this quite a bit this spring, and that's get early inning runs, especially first inning runs, and it's happened here today. Here's the 9th batter in the inning, Marte. He lines one into right, but right at the right fielder, and Matt Kemp puts it away. The inning is over on that line drive. But what a first inning. The Angels come up with 4 and have a 4-0 lead against the Padres before they ever bat. We're headed to the bottom of the first on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Hector Santiago's first pitch as we move to the bottom of the first inning, right in there on the leadoff man, Jamiel Weeks. He's playing shortstop for San Diego today. Switch hitter batting from the right side. He's had a solid spring for them, trying to win a reserve spot on their opening day roster. Next pitch evens up the count. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Just from what we saw yesterday from Jamiel Weeks, different hitter than he had been the last couple of seasons. He's tried to stick to the big leagues.
Here's the next delivery, and this is skied way up in the air near the first base bag, waiting for it to come down, making the catch on the infield grasses. Today's first baseman, C.J. CRON. 1 gone, and Melvin Upton Jr. will be the next batter.
My point was, what I saw yesterday from Weeks was just the consistency of having a swing that really propels him to hit line drives and ground balls, and you said good speed, which got away from him after his first call-up with the Oakland A's.
So here's Upton, and that pitch is taken for a called strike. Upton has had a pretty tough spring, hitting just a little over 200. He cuts at this one and pops it up foul on the first base side. CRON is going to run out of room. It's a few rows back and out of play. Melvin Upton Jr., we used to call him B.J. Upton.
That's right. So let's clarify that, since we saw him for so many years with the Tampa Bay Rays under the other name.
Right.
In fact, the Angels were one of the first teams he ever faced in the big leagues when he came up as a shortstop for the Rays.
Here's the pitch, and that one is outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Upton played in only 87 games last year. He had a left foot injury going back to the opening month of the season last year. And here he skies one in the air. It's hanging up for Daniel NAVA. Way up there. He'll make the grab on that one. That's the second out. A couple of balls in the air for the first 2 outs, and Matt Kemp will be the next batter.
Hector Santiago solid all spring. 5 starts. His 6th one here now today. In those 18 innings, 3 home runs, only 6 walks, and 21 strikeouts for Hector, who, of course, will become the first Angel to go well beyond those 85 pitches.
So here's Kemp. And here's the first pitch on the right-handed batter. He takes that one inside. Kemp hit .265 last year for San Diego. 23 homers. He drove in 100 runs. 2-time All-Star. He's won a couple of Gold Gloves as well back to his Dodger days, and he cuts and misses that one. 1-1 to count.
That was a very quiet 100 RBIs. Not affected whatsoever by playing at Petco half of his games.
And the next pitch, he cuts and misses that one. Kemp is in the 5th year of an 8-year deal. It was a $160 million deal he signed with the Dodgers. He takes that one inside. And it's 2-2. And I guess the Dodgers are paying some of his salary, even though he's with the Padres now.
Yes, they are.
Pretty good chunk of it as well. Here's the next pitch. That's line foul on the right side, backing out of play.
You're referring to that game that DC told us here about the Padres scoring 9 runs in the first inning against Houston in Mexico City. Padres are leading that game 11-1 in the 4th. And one of the top prospects we're talking about hit a home run.
Here's the pitch. This is hit high in the air on the first base side. CRON is going to have another play. Fair ground behind the bag. Puts it away. And the inning is over. So Santiago retires them cleanly here in the bottom of the 1st. We're headed to the 2nd. Angels are up in Peoria 4-0 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Johnny Giavotella at the plate for the Angels, and he just took the last pitch outside for a ball. Giavotella is the leadoff man for the Halos today. And he got things started in the 1st inning with the base hit. Angels got 4 first-inning runs against Cashner, who misses with that one. That's high. And the count now 2 balls, 1 strike.
It was Johnny Giavotella that got everything going. A 6-pitch at bat before he singled the center field. 37 total pitches in that inning for Cashner.
Here's the next one. It's hit sharply but right to short. Weeks has it. His throw is in time, and that'll be the first out. So 1 away. Daniel Nava will bet. And don't forget this copyrighted broadcast presented by authority of Angels Baseball. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of today's game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of Angels Baseball. Terry Smith, Jose Mota, and our producer-engineer Darren Chan with you on this Sunday. Another gorgeous day here in the Valley. And the pitch, it's in there for a strike on Nava, who walked and scored last inning. And here comes the next pitch. Nava takes that one inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Despite all the at-bats for Nava, where he's been picking up hits, he's also really been doing a good job of working counts this spring.
That's something that pretty much has followed him. He's had in his game since the time he got to the big leagues. And truly affected by that thumb wrist injury. Last year, he said it started with a jam shot. It affected my thumb, and before you know it, he says it got into my wrist, and I just was not able to be comfortable all season long between Boston and Tampa Bay.
Here's the next delivery, and this one is hit well in the left field. Outfielders are chasing, and that ball is gone. Out of here, home run, Daniel Nava. That's his second this spring. Angels add on. It's now 5-0.
He's comfortable again, and it's more than obvious. Came into this game hitting .459, second home run. Now 10 RBIs for Daniel Nava, and to go that deep opposite field from this side of the plate certainly tells you a lot about how much he's getting out of his hands, out of his backside, and certainly how the ball is jumping off of that bat.
So the Angels are scoring early inning runs here against Cashner. At the plate, taking that one for a strike is Mike Trout. He's singled in a run, scored a run so far. Angels with 5 runs already, 5 hits in this ball game as Trout hits that one sharply, but foul on the left side. Here's the next pitch. That's fouled off on the right side, out of play. Well, the thing about the spring for the Angels, and again, just 2 more games left in Arizona after today, the offense has really been gelling. There's a breaking ball low and outside, and you just hope that the pitching is going to come through for the Angels, because there are some question marks as far as the rotation because of some of the injury issues this spring. There's a pitch up and in on Trout. Boy, that was a fastball high and tight.
That was zipping as Trout was looking breaking ball, and that ball just came up on him. Cashner trying to just get Angels hitters away from that comfort zone right now. Not a bad pitch. You go out there and bust them in.
Next delivery, Trout drills one deep down the left field side, but it's a foul ball. Boy, did he ever hit that one.
Just smart hitting in a way. His approach is, okay, fastball up and in. You want to push me off the plate. Got to look breaking ball here, and there it is. Got a changeup off speed right over the plate.
Trout knew he got that one, but he hit it foul. Here's the next pitch. He goes down the right field side. Long run for Kemp down in that corner, and that ball is going to land foul, out of play.
Talk about a complete hitter in everything he does, an approach and mental preparation now, playing those mind games with the pitcher. So he sees a fastball up and in. Evens the count 2-2. Changeup, he pulls it way foul. Then he stays right back to his strength. Middle of the diamond, opposite field. None of this. Let me try to hook it and see how far I can hit it again. That's what makes him so special and so consistent, of course.
Here's the next one, the 2-2. Off speed, that one misses low. So it's a full count on Trout.
Terry is scared to say, but Mike Trout can get better.
And there's a pitch that's up and in, and he is on with a walk, a one-out walk.
And Mike Trout is not afraid to admit it, that he, of course, works every day to try to get better.
Well, I mean,
It's admirable.
there are parts of his game that you could see that there could be some improvement to cut down the strikeouts, which he's done this spring. Maybe get back to stealing a few more bases like he did in his first couple of seasons with the Angels.
And boy, just to see the numbers he's put up at that age, everybody's just delighted to hear a player like that, who's got a long-term deal, by the way. So it's not like he's playing for a contract or anything like that, but to say, I can still get better. I want to get better. It's no satisfaction whatsoever. But in talking to Mike extensively yesterday, he says it's about playing in October, though. It's about going and playing in October baseball. He's only had one chance to do it with the Angels, and it was a short series against the Royals a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah. Cole Calhoun batting. The count's even on him, 1-1. He fouled off a pitch. He tried to bunt the first one from Cashner and then just took the last pitch outside.
That's something else we've seen more of Cole Calhoun in trying to bunt against that shift.
And here's the pitch. He does drop one down on the third base side. Cashner off the mound, fields, throws, and gets Cole Calhoun. Trout does go up to second. I don't think they'll give him a sacrifice there. He was just trying to beat the shift. But a runner at second. CRON will be the batter.
They give that a sacrifice, 5-0.
What?
Well, Cole Calhoun will take it.
Wow.
Yeah, Mike Socha is there to give him a
one
little
out.
fist bump right there. There's no way that was a sacrifice bunt, but that's how they scored it.
What Cole is learning more and more is about pushing that bunt just a little bit harder. Get it by the pitcher. There's nobody around to throw you out.
Here's CRON taking a strike.
And the more he's able to practice it, the better he's going to get. And Terry, hopefully, encouraged by Ron Renicky, take that into the regular season. Well, he's going to see even more shift that he's seen here in spring training.
There's a pitch a little bit outside on CRON. C.J. CRON was batting when Daniel Navas scored on that throw by Betancourt with the runners breaking that sailed into left field, and then Angels got a gift run on that play, an error on the catcher's throw, and then after another pitch or two, CRON ended up drawing a walk last inning. It's in the hole here. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Let's see if we can see CRON get over 300, Terry.
It would do that for him, and the pitch. There is a ground ball. It's smothered nicely by Weeks. His throw is in time, and that was a nice play. Took a hit away from him. Inning is over on the ground out. Angels get 1 on the homer by NAVA, and as we go to the bottom of the second, 5-0 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Bottom of the second, it's 5-0 Angels. First pitch is right in there for a called strike on Will Myers. He's their cleanup batter today, and the next delivery is up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike to count. It'll be Myers, Betancourt, and Renfroe, the batters for San Diego. And here's the pitch. That's a little bit low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hector now working with a 5-run cushion in this one. Next delivery, a cut and a miss.
That was a pretty good fastball. Hector will go to that number 1, as he knows that is the one pitch that gets him back on track. Better sense of his direction now, staying in that lane, but he says it's all about my finish. I need to stay and bounce over with my left leg.
There's Myers taking that one for a ball, so the count runs full. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes.
He's trying to bring that left leg around to land in a good spot and not cut across too early, landing way towards that third baseline.
Here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss. He chased one up and in, struck him out.
Terry, that was pretty much not bad. You know what? I'm going to throw fastballs, go out there and see how far you can hit it, but smartly enough, he stayed in different slots, just climbing that ladder little by little. As Myers' eyes got bigger, so did his swing.
So here's the catcher, Christian Betancourt. Betancourt, a right-handed batter. Santiago's pitch. He misses high with that fastball. We'll check out the Jeep out-of-town scoreboard on this Sunday in just a moment. It's brought to you by the Jeep Cherokee. Estimated 31 miles per gallon highway. It's the perfect choice. Visit Jeep.com for more information. And the 1-0. Fly ball lifted into right field. Hit pretty well, but hanging up for Cole Calhoun. He circles under and squeezes it for out number 2. Center fielder Hunter Renfroe will bat. In the Florida Grapefruit League today, Boston beat Philadelphia 5-1. The knuckleballer Stephen Wright got the victory for the Red Sox. Astros split squad playing the Tigers in Lakeland today, and Houston won that game 8-3. Castro and Singleton with home runs for the Astros. Minnesota over the Yankees 5-2. But Gardner hit a home run for New York. Washington split squad over Atlanta 7-2. Beckham a home run for the Braves in that one. Former Angel Gordon Beckham is first this spring. 1-1 is now the count on Renfroe. Marlins doubled up the Cardinals 4-2. Toronto beat Tampa Bay 7-3. As that one misses, and a Washington split squad. And the Mets ended up playing to a 4-4 tie. That game went 9 innings. Here's Santiago's next pitch, 2-1, a cut and a miss.
He's got a lot of life in that fastball today. Giovanni Soto doing a good job in setting up for him, giving him a nice target, and moving that target around is a nice visual for Hector.
Here's the 2-2, fouled back to the screen. Renfroe played Double-A and Triple-A last year. He's 24 years old. Had 20 home runs in the minors last year. Hit .272. He's had 16 at-bats for the Padres this spring with 4 hits. And the next pitch chops this one down the third base side, but a foul ball. Two and two, the count. Hector has a new baseball, and he delivers a swing and a miss. He got and struck him out. Pair of strikeouts in the inning. We're headed now to the third as we go there. 5-0 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. First batter up for the Angels as we start the third inning is ANDRELTON Simmons. He was taking the pitch was in there from Cashner. And the next delivery, that's a little bit outside. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
Here, I think Cashner wants to get on the mound and get his work in, man. He is not wasting much time in between innings.
So the count, 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the next pitch. And that one is a little bit high. Home plate umpire getting a new supply of baseballs. Adam Hamari calling balls and strikes. Infield is back. Outfield a little bit the opposite way. The next pitch, that's high. And the count goes to 3-1.
Angels got 37 pitches out of Catcher in that first inning when he faced 9 batters. And 24 more pitches in the second inning when he faced 5 batters.
There's a pitch that's in there for a strike.
You can see he's been fighting himself a little bit mechanically. Looks pretty smooth, but just the arm's not releasing consistently where he wants to, thus not finding spots.
Here's one chopped right to third. It's handled there by Schimpf, and the throw is in time. So 1 away. Fans in attendance for the Angels opening series against the Chicago Cubs on April the 4th and 5th will receive a wall calendar. It's courtesy of U.S. Bank while supplies last. Every game matters, so purchase your tickets at angels.com. Here's Soto. He went down on strikes his first time up, and that's in there. 0-1. Giovanni Soto, 7 hits this spring, and 3 of them have been home runs. There's a cut and a miss. 0-2 the count. Here's Cashner's next pitch, and that one is outside.
Giovanni Soto, who won the Rookie of the Year for the Cubs years ago, says he has been refreshed and renewed to be around so many great catching minds here in camp. He says starting with Benji and Jose Molina. And of course, Giovanni also spent the offseason working with Yadier Molina back in Puerto Rico. But he says you add to that then Mike Scioscia and Scioscia's camp and with the catchers and all the things that he's been able to learn and pick up. He goes, this is unbelievable how much knowledge has been spread and how many things he's picked up from those great catching minds.
The 2-2 on Soto. Grounded down to the third baseman once again, and it will be an easy play at first base. Throw gets Soto 2 up, 2 away. Cliff Pennington, the next batter. And let's pause for stations to identify themselves here on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. First pitch on Pennington, swing and a miss. Cashner has retired the last 4 in a row. That's by far the longest string of batters he's set down in order. And the next pitch, that's fouled off on the left side, backing out of play.
He's throwing more changeups. It seems like he's finding a better finish to it. At times he is slowing down his body and just kind of guiding it in there. Of course, forcing the issue because he's gotten hit so hard.
Next delivery, that's a little bit outside. We're talking about Giovanni Soto, and he was the last batter up for the Angels. And there's a cut and a miss, and down on strikes goes Pennington, and that will end the inning. The Angels go down quietly here in the top of the third. Bottom of the third is next. 5-0 Halos on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.
The Halos return.
Hector Santiago's first pitch as we start the bottom of the third inning. It's a little bit low and away. Brian Schimpf, the third baseman, will lead it off. Then Amarista and the pitcher Cashner will be batting. The Padres have decided to have their pitchers hit again. They did that yesterday as well. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count.
It is that time in spring when they need to go out there and get their eyes ready also for what's going to be asked of them during the game and handling the bat.
Next pitch, a ball to count 2-1 on Schimpf. He spells his last name S-C-H-I-M-P-F. Left-handed batter who played at Double-A and Triple-A last year. Not a big guy. He goes about 5'9". But he had 23 homers last season in the minors, drove in 63 runs.
He has opened some eyes here in camp. Compact hitter.
Time called. He backed out of the box. Now he's back in there. And Hector's 2-2. Just missed a little bit outside. So full count 3-2. Santiago has retired 6 in a row so far in this ball game. 1 strikeout, and there's a pitch that's cut on and missed, and he has another one there. So Amarista will be the batter. 1 gone. We saw Amarista in yesterday's ball game. He played shortstop. He's playing second base for them today. Former Angel Alexi Amarista. Angels third baseman Jeffrey Marte is in on the grass. Amarista will bunt from time to time. He has good speed. Here's the pitch. A little bit low and outside. 1-0 the count. And the next delivery. It's a liner the opposite way. It's going to drop into left field. So the Padres have their first hit of the day. 1 out single here in the bottom of the third.
Alexi Amarista taking a look as to how Hector Santiago has been working previous batters. Does a good job. Just looking for a number 1. Staying with it. Not looking to pull. And using that big log of a bat that he uses to get enough of it, fight it off, and get that single.
So Cashner will be the batter. We'll see if he will be bunting. He didn't have a whole lot of success doing that last season.
How about that? So we found a big 0 on him.
Right. Did not have a sacrifice bunt and was 5 for 60 as a batter last year with 5 singles. He hit under 100. He is around the bunt. He's going to try one. And the pitch inside on him for ball 1.
He's a 158 career hitter, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs. But he had 5 sacrifice bunts back in 2014, 0 last season.
He is already scurrying around a bunt. Santiago throws a pickoff toss over to first base, and Amarista gets back. Marte still in at third base, and why not? The batter tipping off the bunt. There is a bunt. It's popped up foul behind the plate, but it's going to drop out of the reach of Soto over near the Padres on deck circle. So 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, if nothing else in the National League, and of course the Padres are an NL team, a pitcher can help his cause if he can be a good bunter.
A lot of those managers that will tell their team early in the season, if you can just show me they can handle it and put the bunt down, that might give you an extra inning, extra at bat to stay in the game when I don't need to use the bench, because I trust that you can go out there and get the job done.
Here's the next pitch, and that's way high and outside. That pitch took off on Santiago. 2-1 on Cashner. I mean, Hector knows that he's trying to bunt here, and he almost threw a wild pitch.
Well, that squaring away early is messing Hector around a little bit. I mean, Cashner is showing bunt way early. He's letting the world know, I'm bunny. I got to work on some things here.
And Hector with a toss over to first to let Amarista know he's still wearing him over there. We have one out. We're in the bottom of the third. The Angels are up 5-0. Angels got 4 of the 5 in the very first inning. And here's the next pitch, and there is the bunt. It's fielded there by CRON. He looked at second, throws to first, and it's in time.
Boy, that was almost trouble. But I'll tell you what the Angels did that I really like is Mike Scioscia this time had the corners crashing in, and CRON did a good job pretty much staying under control. He looked at second. He just knew that Amarista got a good jump. There's not going to be a play there. Then the confusion was as to who was covering first base and Santiago being in the way, and CRON had to float the ball up there and just barely getting Cashner in time.
Pennington ended up covering first base, so that'll go down as a 3-4 sack bunt. Runner at second, 2 outs, and here's Jemiah Weeks, who popped out to C.J. CRON back in the first inning.
It was good to see CRON crashing, and he was sprinting full speed in there. Made a good play on the back end on that bunt.
Here's the pitch on Weeks. A little bit high and away.
Weeks himself has had a nice spring with the average, which started today at 364, but he's also driven in 13 runs. Making a very good case for himself to be part of this roster in the National League Ball Club with his versatility.
Here's the next pitch, and that's a little bit high.
His brother, Ricky Weeks, having a solid camp himself with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Trying to also find a place in the slot on that roster.
There's a pickoff try at second. Diving back to the bag goes Amarista. Pennington, who's playing second, was sneaking in to handle that throw. Upton would be up next. Santiago can get out of this inning if he retires Weeks. And here's the next pitch. He's high with that one. So he's fallen behind. 3 balls, no strikes.
Hector's at 43 pitches right now as we work in the third inning. Made only 13 pitches in the first inning with 3 flyouts. He's been around the plate and he's been mixing in well.
And on the 3-0, that's right in there, called strike.
Right on the corner. Good job there. When you're around the plate, you're going to get those calls. A lot of times you don't get those calls 3-0.
Breeze continues to blow. It's blowing from right to left. It is blowing out a bit. And here's the next pitch. And that is a fastball that caught the outside corner.
Once again, just playing catch with Giovanni Soto. Hector amongst the best in baseball and working out of jams last year. Of course, something you want to avoid is getting into jams, but he was really good in working out of those. Among the best average, lowest average opponent-wise with men in scoring position in all of baseball.
Here's the 3-2, and he throws it by him, struck him out. Good job by Santiago. A pair of strikeouts in the inning, and 4 now in the ballgame. 3 in the books. The 4th is next. Angels are up here in Peoria, 5-0 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels up 5-0 as we start the top of the fourth with Jeffrey Marte, the Angels third baseman, leading it off. Cuts at the first pitch from Cashner and fouls that one back on the right side, out of play.
Marte hitting ninth today. He made the last out in the very productive 4-run first inning for the Angels, and he smoked the ball right to Matt Kemp in right field. And Marte's had a nice spring himself, hitting over 320 coming in.
Here's the next pitch. Breaking ball, and he fooled him right there. Swings and misses that one. It's now no balls, 2 strikes.
That's exactly what you see when Andrew Cashner is on. That sharp breaking ball sometimes has a look of a curveball that is short and late. But when he warms up, it always says slider.
Here's the next pitch, and that's hit well into left center field. Renfroe and Upton are chasing out there. That ball is out by the fence, and that one is gone. Out of here, home run. Jeffrey Marte, his second one this spring. Angels now up 6-0.
Marte wasted no time in missing one and then making a quick adjustment, as this time Cashner just rolls it in there and does not have the same bite. And as a hitter, he missed a very good one, as most hitters will do. But boy, be ready for that second one if it stays in the zone, and that is exactly what Marte did.
Vitello batting now, takes the pitch for strike one.
Terry, for Cashner, it's one of those, how did I miss that far in off over the plate? 0-2.
Here's the next pitch on Giovitello. That's inside. So a pair of home runs for the Angels already in this ball game. NAVA and Marte, and each connecting for the second time this spring.
A lot of extra bases for the Angels the last couple games against the Padres.
There's one foul back to the screen off the bat of Johnny Giovitello. Cashner gave up 19 home runs last year, and that came in 31 starts and just under 185 innings. Here's the 1-2. Just missed outside, a little bit low. 2-2. And the next delivery, that is low, so it's a full count. Cashner's already walked 3, struck out 2. And the Angels have had 6 hits against them. Here's the pitch. Bounce right back to the pitcher. Cashner stops it and throws out Giovitello. It's the first out. Daniel Nava will bat. He's having a good ball game. And now let's see. It looks like we're going to have a pitching change here for the Padres. So Cashner's day is done. We have a break in the action. When we get back, we'll tell you who's coming in to pitch for San Diego. Angels leading 6-0 here in the fourth. Pitching change coming up on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. New pitcher for San Diego is a pitcher up from their minor league camp. His name is Jason Jester, and he's worked once this spring for San Diego. 2/3 of an inning, did not allow any hits or runs, so he will take over. Pitched in A-ball last year and was used in relief.
Terry, he is a 24-year-old from Longview, Texas, 5'11", 185 pounds. He went to Texas A&M and also to Tyler Junior College. 23rd rounder for the Padres back in 2014. He was the 687th player taken overall in that draft.
So he takes over for Cashner, who went 3 1/3 innings, allowed 6 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 2 home runs allowed. First pitch is a ball to count. 1 ball, no strikes on NAVA. Cashner threw 85 pitches in just 3 1/3 innings today.
As spring is concerned, he got his work into 85. Unfortunately, he was up in the zone and quite hittable.
Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball missed inside. 2-1 the count. And the next delivery, that's chopped on the right side. Stopped by Myers, the first baseman, and he will easily beat Nava to the bag. Second out, unassisted play. Mike Trout will bat. Fans take part in the Angels 5K and Fun Run. It's presented by St. Joseph Hoag Health. It will take place on April the 9th at Angel Stadium, not too far away. All participants will receive a commemorative shirt, finisher's medal. Register today at angels.com/5K.
Well, Mike Trout has put on a display here of power on a long foul ball, pull left, sharp single to left, the walk. And not being afraid of that mid to upper 90s fastball that he saw from the catcher, especially up and in a couple of times.
Here's the 0-1 pitch, and Trout fouls that one off on the right side. Jester has a big looping curveball, and that was what he gave Trout on the first pitch.
And he is a strike thrower. Good numbers in the minor leagues.
There's a pitch that bounced in, and Trout batting here with 2 outs, a run in. Angels got the run on the leadoff home run by Marte. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count on Mike. And the next pitch, and that one is cut on and missed. He got him, and that was how the inning will end. Angels are retired here in the 4th. Get a run, though. It's 6-0 Angels. We head to the bottom of the 4th on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Hector Santiago's first delivery as we start off the bottom of the fourth. Melvin Upton Jr. takes ball one. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Kemp and Myers will follow. 6-0 Angels, and the pitch grounded right to short. Easy play for Simmons, and his throw will retire Upton. One quick out. Santiago's looked good so far in this ball game.
First out recorded by Santiago on the ground. If he take away that bunt out, that sacrifice by Casher in the third inning, but everything's been a fly ball or a strikeout.
Hector's set down 10 of 11 in this game. So the batter is Kemp, who popped out to CRON, the Angel first baseman. Here's the first pitch here, and that one is on the outside part of the plate. It's a called strike. Matt Kemp, 31 years old. Here's the pitch. That's lifted and hit well into right field. Going back is Cole Calhoun, has a beat on it, and will squeeze it for the out. So 2 quick outs, another ball in the air against one of these Padre hitters. Here's Will Myers.
That's pretty much Hector Santiago pitching to his strength. That's why he's such a perfect match for the Angels and that staff. That rotation, pitching half of those games at the Big A. Harry, pretty soon at the Big A in that booth, you and Langley.
Yeah, Mark Langston will be back alongside, and of course opening day is 1 week from tomorrow. 0-1 is the count. Here's the pitch. A little bit low with that one. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sure, for Will Myers, pardon me, it's just a matter of staying on the field. Will Myers has never played 100 games in a season.
Here's the pitch, and that one is low.
Limited to only 60 games last year, 87 in 2014. And his rookie of the year, he played 88 games for Tampa Bay.
Here's the pitch. That one is hit well into left field. He got a hold of that one, and it is gone. That one cleared the Angels bullpen down the left field side. No doubt about it. Myers with his 3rd home run this spring. And the Padres get their first run in the ballgame. It's 6-1 Angels.
He's always had that solid approach at the plate. No batting gloves. Strong hands, very strong forearms, and really when he connects it's a thing of beauty. And of course for Hector Santiago, the fly balls, a lot of times when you miss a spot or 2 by a couple of inches, that's what's going to happen at any ballpark.
Next batter up, cutting one and fouling it back is Betancourt, their catcher. That home run is the 4th one surrendered by Hector. The home run ball was a problem for him last year. He gave up 29. Here's the next pitch, and it's fouled right back behind the plate again. 0-2 is the count on Betancourt. He flied out to right his first time up. Already had 3 home runs in this ball game between the 2 teams. Next delivery, and that one missed. 1-2 the count. Here's Santiago's pitch, and did he go around on that one? No. On the appeal, they say that Betancourt was holding. Two-two delivery. Chopped on a hop to third. Charging is Marte. He'll have to hurry the throw. It's late. Well, Marte charged and just wasn't able to get that ball over to CRON in time. And it's pretty good speed by the catcher there running to first base.
Good job. He got down that line very quickly. He saw the first hop and he knew he had a chance once that ball bounced again, and it bounced a little bit to the right of Marte, who originally thought about seeing that ball come on the left side to make it easy on that transfer to the glove to hand, and it just did not happen.
So the batter now is Renfroe, one of their minor league players in the lineup. There's the toss over to first base, and back to the bag goes Betancourt. Here's the pitch. This is a pop-up on the right side. CRON is chasing, so is Pennington, and
they could see
neither guy really got a good read on that one, and it ends up dropping in foul territory. It's a foul ball, but that was a ball that really should have been caught.
Could not see it. You could see Pennington desperately heading out there, and he does have a little priority there, running behind the first baseman in all that territory. Arms open, saying, I can't see it. And certainly that did not help at all. Not going to be an easy play no matter what, but
so it's 0-1 as Renfroe digs in and swings at the next pitch and lifts that one deep into left field. That ball is out by the wall, and right up near the wall, making the grab on it is NAVA, and that will end the inning. Daniel NAVA puts it away. It is a 6-1 Angels lead as we head to the fifth on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Cole Calhoun will be the first batter for the Angels as we move to inning number 5 here in Peoria. Jason Jester, who came in to replace Andrew Kashner. Jester will continue. He retired the 2 batters he faced last inning. He'll face Cole Calhoun, who's 0 for 1 with a sac bunt. They have the shift on the right side. First pitch, a breaking ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Calhoun entered today hitting .340 here in the Cactus League, and he lifts a high drive into right center field. It's hanging up, though, for Renfroe, the center fielder. He'll put that one away. Cole got under it just a bit. He skies out, and that's the first out. Here's C.J. CRON.
Hey, Terry, tomorrow our last Moda Mondays here of the preseason, so I hope maybe you can make an appearance someday soon. But tomorrow in Moda Mondays, that's at 8 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be talking about the rivalry edition. Angels-Dodgers Freeway Series. Yasiel Puig's going to join us for a few minutes and answer a couple of questions. Yasiel Puig, he loves playing against the Angels. He says it's like a playoff game for him, playoff series. Also, I have recorded messages from Howie Kendrick on a video, and also from
former Dodger closer Eric Gagne, Terry.
Wow.
Huh?
Sounds like a busy night tomorrow night.
Yeah, Eric Gagne talks about the rivalry, how much he enjoyed it. Recently saw Eric Gagne over in Panama. He is Team France's manager. And Howie Kendrick, of course, now has worn both uniforms. He's going to talk on video about the rivalry. So tomorrow, Motor Mondays. Hashtag Motor Mondays on Twitter. All on at Fox Sports West.
C.J. CRON just got a base hit in the center field against Chester, so the Angels have a runner on at first. And SIMMONS will be the next batter. And he lines one. A nice catch by Amarista, who throws to first trying to double up CRON, but he dives back to the bag. SIMMONS hit that ball hard. That was a nice play by the little man, Alexi Amarista.
Amarista can really move out there at second base. That's why he's so good for a National League team. He can play some second base, which is his best position. He can play some outfield for you. Quick as a cat. Angels property at one point. We got the Angels a nice return. And Ernesto Frieri.
Amarista goes about 5'8", and here's one. It's lined down the left field side. That's going to drop in for a hit. Upton will fire it back to the infield. Does a good job as CRON only advances one base, but Soto has a hit, and the Angels have 2 on with 2 outs for Cliff Pennington. Pennington's driven in a run today with an RBI single. That was back in the first inning. He also struck out.
This young pitcher, Jester, has good stuff. Really surprised Mike Trout when he threw that bender, hard breaking ball to strike out Trout's closing out the 4th inning. And he has averaged well over a strikeout an inning in his minor league career.
There's a pitch right in there for strike 1.
And while warming up, just noticing how smooth he is. Nice delivery, pretty clean. Using that slope well to throw the changeup, which Pennington just saw, but also that good breaking ball. Bites down hard.
Next pitch, and that one missed.
Jester, as mentioned, out of Longview, Texas. Attended Texas A&M and Tyler Junior College.
Here's the next delivery, and that's fouled off over on the left side, backing out of play.
In fact, Jester, in his minor league career, 59 games, a 2.80 ERA, 74 innings total, only 18 walks, but 86 strikeouts. And again, what a nice story he is. He was a 687th player picked in 2014 in that draft.
There's one that's low, so this spring he certainly is trying to get on their radar screen. He's not regarded as one of their real highly touted prospects, but hey, you pitch well, you'll open up some eyes and get on the radar screen.
Get people out, prospect or not, you're going to get a chance. You're right, Terry. Open those eyes.
Here's a bouncing ball hit on the right side. Amarista is going to make another play, and he will throw out Pennington, and the inning is over on the ground out. Angels had a little threat, but failed to score here in the 5th. Bottom of the 5th coming up. 6-1 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. So Hector Santiago will continue. We go to the bottom of the fifth. 6-1 Angels leading. And Ryan Schimpf will lead it off. He's playing third base for the Padres today. Struck out his first time up. Takes that one for ball one. It's 1 ball, no strikes. Score update brought to you by Experian. Get serious about your credit by visiting Experian.com. Angels have 6 runs in this ball game and have done it with a total of 8 hits. Here's the pitch. That's chopped foul on the right side. Padres have had just 1 run against Hector, and they've had only 3 hits.
And Hector should be on target to get close to 100 pitches today. There's one time when Hector was supposed to go 45 pitches. He ended up going 59 earlier in camp. Terry? And remember last time out, he was supposed to go 6 innings, and Mike Socha said, you know what, Charles Naguinot said, go out there and start the 7th.
Jose, sometimes in life, things don't always go as planned.
Hey, you got to be flexible, man. If it's working, just let it go. You can't have a set template for everything.
There's a 2-2 delivery, and there's a swing and a miss, and Hector gets Schimpf on strikes for the 2nd time. Santiago with 5 strikeouts.
Just like you were saying before about opening up some eyes. Go out there and do your job. Sometimes it also changes the view on many eyes, how you get things done. And Mike Socha and Charles Nagy, the pitching coach and manager, saying, well, he's throwing the ball well. There's very little effort. Just let him go out there and get stronger.
At the plate, taking the pitch for a called strike is Amarista. He was showing signs of bunting. He's had a hit so far, his only time up.
Beloved Alexi Amarista by his former manager, Buddy Black.
1-1 to count. He's a guy, whenever you see him, especially on the baseball field, he always seems to be in a good mood. Alexi Amarista.
Having a great time.
And the next pitch checks the swing on that one and fouls it off.
A couple of seasons ago, he suffered the loss of his father over in Venezuela. All, Terry, for a $15 wristwatch.
There's one fouled off on the left side, out of play. Amarista from Barcelona, Venezuela.
That's also Jose Alvarez territory.
Next pitch. That's a liner on one hop, and it drops under the glove of Pennington, and the ball skips through into right center. It was a low line drive. Pennington tried to catch it before it hit the ground, and then when it did, it skipped right under his glove.
Ball had a knuckleball effect on it, and Cliff Pennington is dumbfounded as anybody.
Yeah.
Saying, how did I not catch it? But you can see as he was guiding and gliding towards the right, that ball kept moving and moving more and more, and then eventually he was looking at the background with so many white shirts, perhaps where the ball could have gotten lost too.
So that will be a hit, and Amarista has 2 of the 4 San Diego hits so far. 1 out single. He's on at first. And there's a pitch that is in there for a called strike. Jose Perella, we saw him yesterday. He is pinch hitting for the relief pitcher Jason Jester.
Got to keep him quiet. Hit a line shot out of the ballpark yesterday at Tempe Diablo.
Here's the pitch. It's popped in the air out near second base. Pennington is shading the eyes under. He'll make the grab on that one. That's out number 2. Jemile Weeks will bat. Fans, MLB.TV Premium. Everything you have come to expect and more. New low price for 2016. Watch every out-of-market game of all 30 teams live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. A 6-1 Angels lead here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Angels bullpen remains quiet. There's action for Padres. They will have a new pitcher coming in to work the 6th inning. Hector is set. Look at first base. And he delivers. It's fouled back to the screen. 0-1 to count. Padres have not had a whole lot of success this spring. Their record is 7-17-2.
Yeah, they're going to be part of the division where pretty much every opponent is going to be tough. The D-backs now really loading up on their pitching with Shelby Miller and Zach Greinke. And with the Diamondbacks offense that just does not go away. They are dangerous with the bats. Led by one of the best players in the game, Paul Goldschmidt. Boy, is he good.
1 ball, 1 strike here on Weeks. There goes the runner, Amarista. The pitch is high. The throw down to second. He is safe. Stolen base. Amarista had 12 last year for the Padres. He picks up 1 here today.
Well, this has been by far the biggest headache today for Hector Santiago. 2 for 2, stolen base. Moved to second earlier on a sacrifice.
Santiago now works with a runner in scoring position. Soto's throw is a pretty good one. It was right on target.
Yeah,
but
pretty close play, really.
Yeah.
Considering the good jump that Amarista got.
Here's the next pitch. A little bit inside. It misses. Padres, the last 4 seasons, have not even won 80 games in any of them. And they've had 5 straight losing seasons overall. And a tough spring for them here in Arizona. Here's the 3-1. That's lifted in the air down the right field side. Cole Calhoun is circling under. He'll make the catch, and the inning comes to an end. Not much happening for San Diego here in the 5th. 6th inning coming up. Angels are up 6-1 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Couple of changes for San Diego as we get ready to move to the top of the 6th inning. They have a new pitcher in the ball game. Carlos Villanueva will take over. He was with the St. Louis Cardinals last year. It's a guy who's moved around. And they also have a new shortstop, Diego Goris, who is up from their minor league camp. He will take over at short for Jamiel Weeks. So batter number one for the Angels here as we start off the 6th inning is Jeffrey Marte. Homered his last time up. He's had a 1-for-2 ball game. Here's the pitch. That's in there for a called strike. Villanueva appearing in his 6th game this spring, and numbers aren't real good. He's allowed 7 runs in 6 2/3 innings, 11 hits, hasn't struck out a single batter.
Nothing overpowering. He is straight over the top. He unfortunately pitches up in the zone a lot. When he's on, though, his changeup is really a neutralizer for him.
Yeah, he is. That's his best pitch, and there's a cut and a miss at an off-speed delivery, and down on strikes goes Marte. That's out number 1.
He wastes no time in showing Marte that nope, he's not going to make a mistake like Cashner made against Marte 0-2, and he puts him away with that changeup. Villanueva was one of those guys that, of course, managers, especially in the National League, love to have around because he does take the baseball.
Here's the pitch, and that one is hit well into left field. Going after it is Upton, has a beat on it, and he'll make the catch right near the rim of the track out there and left for the 2nd out. Giovatello retired on 1 pitch, 2 quick outs. Daniel Nava, the next batter.
Go, G-Man.
Villanueva is a versatile pitcher. You can use him in a lot of different roles, as Jose mentioned. That's kind of a deceptive delivery. He'll top out with that fastball at around 92 miles per hour. Slider has a good curve and a very good changeup. Here's the pitch, and that's low and inside.
Carlos came up to the big leagues in 2006, and from 06 through 2010 was part of the Milwaukee staff with the pitcher. So Ron Renicky knows him very well, the Angels' 3rd base coach.
Pitch for the Cubs, Toronto, Milwaukee, St. Louis, and now with San Diego. 1-2 is the count. Daniel Nava officially 1-for-2 with a homer. He's also had a walk. He scored 2 runs, driven in 1. Next pitch, that's low and in.
So he gives in to G-Man taking his at bat right here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And the next delivery, did he go around on that one? No.
G-Man Choi came up with some nice plays yesterday at first base. Also came up with some good at-bats, a walk, and a nice 2-run single up the middle against tough lefty Matt Thornton later in yesterday's ball game. Terry, on the Angels lead that just was not enough in the 9th inning. You don't want to be reminded of that.
All 5 of those runs the Padres got yesterday in the 9th inning were unearned. Here's the next one on Choi, and he stays alive, tipping that one foul.
Good job by Choi. He got something up in the zone, a changeup. Out there looking off speed. His hitting coach Dave Hansen is just trying to calm his feet. Stay in the box a little bit longer. Stay planted a little bit longer.
Next pitch, Choi stays alive, fouling that one off on the left side. And the next delivery grounded on the right side, but it's right at Myers, the first baseman for the Padres. He will beat Choi to the bag, and the Angels have a quiet top of the 6th. No runs, hits, or errors. Nobody left. Bottom of the 6th next. It is 6-1 Angels on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Here in the bottom of the sixth, Angels have a 6-1 lead as Hector Santiago delivers, and the pitch is fouled off on the right side, back it out of play. Upton at the plate. Angels have made a number of changes, especially in the outfield. We'll run those down in just a moment. There's a pitch outside. 1-1 the count. G-Man Choi stays in the game, and he is now playing in left field. Rafael Ortega has replaced Mike Trout in center. Craig Gentry has replaced Cole Calhoun in right. Gregorio Petit has come in to play second. Cliff Pennington, who was playing there, has moved to short. So Andrelton Simmons has left the game as well. 2 balls, 1 strike. Upton's grounded out, flied out 0 for 2, and takes that one for a called strike.
That fastball still getting in there. Good velocity, good finish. Sometimes tailing action on a 2-seam fastball for Santiago. And a lot of times we'll see Soto's glove turn in because the ball's cutting naturally.
And the next pitch, that is up and in. So it's a full count. Hector hasn't walked any today. And it looks like he has 5 strikeouts. Here's the next pitch. Popped up foul, right side, backing out of play. Fans, Experian, let's get serious about your credit. Go to Experian.com today. Three-two once again. That one is hit hard into center field. Ortega is going back. That ball is way out in center field. And that one is gone. It just cleared the yellow line, banging off the batter's eye. A home run to straightaway center field.
That is certainly a welcome sight for the Padres, and more of what they need offensively for former B.J. Upton, now Melvin Upton Jr., crushing a Santiago offering. Straight center field, yellow line, way over that. Against the hitter's eye. Wow.
So here's Matt Kemp. And he cuts at that one and fouls it off on the right side. That home run for Upton, his first one this spring. Santiago has given up 2 today and 5 homers here in Cactus League play. Next pitch, this is going to drop into right field. That's going to be another hit. Kemp has a single here. And Mike Socia is coming out of the dugout, and we are going to have a pitching change. So Hector will leave. He threw a little bit shy of 90 pitches in today's action. Break in the action. When we get back, it's 6-2 Angels. Pitching change in the bottom of the 6th on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. New pitcher for the Angels is Cam Bedrosian, so he will take over for Hector Santiago. Hector officially goes 5 innings today, and he gives up 6 hits. 2 of them were home runs. Allows 2 runs, both of the runs earned. The runs coming on the 2 solo homers. No walks allowed by Santiago today, and he picked up 5 strikeouts. So Bedrosian, the new Angel pitcher, he's trying to win one of the final spots on the Angel pitching staff, and he's ready to work here. Here's his delivery. That's right in there for a called strike.
And the last time he worked, it was against the White Sox. Mike Scioscia says that is the best he's seen of Bedrosian here in the spring. Fastball was down, of course, in the mid-90s, but the breaking ball much more effective down in the zone.
Bedrosian has struck out 15 batters in just 9 2/3 innings. This is his 10th appearance this spring. ERA here in the Cactus League for him is 4.66. He has a win, a loss, and also a save. And he's in front quickly here. No balls, 2 strikes on Will Myers.
He has a big arm. Regular season last year, 34 strikeouts in 33 1/3 innings. Problem was, he also walked 19 batters. ERA 5.40.
Next one is fouled off on the right side, backing out of play.
But Terry, I think the time is now. And I think this youngster is ready for the challenge and becoming a full-time big league reliever. Pitched great for the Angels down the stretch in September. 11 strikeouts in 6 2/3. 2.7 ERA. That was his best month.
Bedrosian takes his time out there. He has the sign. And the next pitch, that one misses for a ball.
Left-handers hit a 391 clip against him, and that's why we saw some changes when he came into the games from opposing managers, bringing in some lefties up to the plate. 391 left-handers, 256 right-handers. A big gap.
Here's the next pitch, and that slider missed for a ball. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Here's Bedrosian's pitch, and that one pitch is a little bit low for a ball. Here's the next delivery. It's lined into right field. There waiting is Gentry, who's now at right, and he will pocket that one for the first out.
Good job there by Bedrosian. A couple sliders that didn't work. He was kind of aiming, trying to make him way too perfect. He goes back to number 1 and got right in. It Myers' his kitchen right off the label.
So here is Betancourt. Betancourt got an infield hit his last time up. Showed some pretty good speed for a catcher running to first base, and he cuts to that one and fouls it back behind the plate.
Got inside Terry. What will the Padres do with Betancourt? Is he the backup to Derek Norris? Young player that for years has been trying to find his niche and be a big league catcher.
Here's the next pitch, and that one is fouled off the hand of Giovanni Soto, the Angels catcher. He's in some pain, and now Mike Scioscia and one of the Angels athletic trainers are going to check him out, make sure he's okay. Fans, don't forget, spring training baseball is live with MLB.com at-bat app. Stay connected all spring with radio broadcasts, video highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB.com at that, the #1 app for live baseball on your smartphone and tablet.
That hand was exposed just enough. Soto had to lower his glove just a little bit, and that's where the hand became exposed. But overall, he was doing a good job at shielding that hand. And of course, with that man aboard at first base, that's where you want to have that hand behind the glove. But of course, so many times it's just the reaction, and the pitch decides what you do. And if it's exposed, it's a risk. You can teach it as much as you want, Terry, about hiding it and shielding it, but once a game starts, it's a different story. Too many things happen too quickly. I mean, it was just exposed just enough above the glove.
Yeah, different catchers have different ways of setting up behind the plate. You would see some kind of put that throwing hand behind their back at times. Other ones have it, try and make sure they have it behind their glove.
Yeah, and when it's recommended, of course, you can have it behind your back when there's nobody aboard. But once there's a man aboard, then you've got to get ready to fire away. And at least you can try to hide it as much as you can behind the glove. And often it's just not possible.
So Soto is going to stay in there. And the count's no balls, 2 strikes on Bettencourt. We're in the bottom of the 6th. The Angels have a 6-2 lead. Here's the pitch. And that slider missed outside, low.
Soto has a very distinct way of throwing the ball back to the pitcher. Something he's had to work on because of the issues he'd had, which he admits more mentally than anything else, and throwing the ball back in a more standard manner to the pitcher. We always see him go to his knees.
Pitch was fouled back behind the plate, so the count holding. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That hand's going to hurt a little bit more tomorrow once the adrenaline rush here in the game, in the action, passes by.
Bedrosian very deliberate out there on the mound. Now throws over to first base, and back to the bag goes Matt Kemp. Here's the next pitch, and that's a low, blocked by Soto. So 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Got some good voices around here, Terry. Hear that?
Fans in a festive mood here.
Yeah. So this happy Easter Sunday, huh?
It's the popcorn guy.
Having a great time.
Yep. Here's the next pitch. That's fouled off on the right side, so the battle continues here between Bedrosian and Bettencourt.
He's getting more attention than the pitcher-batter matchup right now.
Well, there's a little lull in the action with a number of balls getting fouled off here.
Somebody buy some. Let's go. Don't just let them sing. Well, Terry, let's get a couple dollars and buy some popcorn here.
Here's the pitch. And again fouled off. So one pitch after another being fouled off here by Bettencourt. Pretty good at bat with 2 strikes to stay alive.
Already 14 pitches. Less than 2 batters here for Bedrosian. Padres' older squad in Mexico City against the Astros. They scored 9 runs in the first inning.
Here's the 2-2. And that one is cut on and missed. And after all that, a strikeout on Bettencourt for the second out.
Bedrosian got what he wanted. There it is. He went to pretty much every single pitch. Finally got him with a two-seam fastball. Very nicely back over the plate.
So here's Renfroe getting ready to bat.
So here's the update from Mexico City. Padres 21. Astros 6 in the 8th inning.
Wow.
21-6. Padres have 19 hits, and the Houston Astros have 11.
The back-to-back days they've played there now in Mexico City. They're playing in a pretty small ballpark. It only seats around 5,000, and they actually brought in extra seats to get it a little bit past 5,000 as far as capacity at that stadium.
It's Estadio Fray Nano.
1-1 strike to count here on Renfroe. 0 for 2 day for the young center fielder. One of their minor league players in the lineup here today. And the next pitch. That's a little bit low.
Before the game, you and I were talking about some of the top prospects. And in that ball game over in Mexico City, it's 21-6 now in the 9th inning. Padres leading the Astros. Jabari Blash, Terry, connected for his 4th homer of the spring, and he's got 4 RBIs for the Padres today over in Mexico City. So he's got 4 home runs and 10 RBIs. The youngster.
He was in the Seattle organization, and they got him from the A's during the offseason back in December. There's a pitch cut on a miss. He's a big outfielder, about 6'5", and he hit 32 home runs in the minors last year, Jabari Blash. So might be a name to remember down the road now with San Diego.
And he's out of St. Thomas, Virgin Islands.
Right. From the Virgin Islands, yeah. 2-2 delivery. That's lifted down the right field side, a foul ball. Jose, I was looking at the Angels bullpen trying to maybe figure out who's going to be in that bullpen when the season begins.
I know I got you thinking a little bit.
You do. And I know you think Bedrosian's going to be one of those relievers on that opening day roster. And I would say I'm not completely sold. Of course, another good outing or two might solidify a role for him. There's a pitch. A little bit low, but you have Albuquerque, you have Alvarez, you have Morin, you have Rasmus, you have Salas, you have Smith, and you have Street. That's 7 relievers right there.
In other words, there's no room for anybody else. Is that what you're saying? It could be.
Well, I don't know you're going to go 8 deep in the bullpen. That would be 13 pitchers on the opening day roster. There's one that's fouled back to the screen. So it's going to be a battle there.
It's going to be a battle. But the one thing we know is that bullpen will look different the first and second week than it will the rest of the season because of the Angels needing somebody not making the team that's going to be stretched out in AAA. But you're right, there's very little room, if any, right now.
Yeah.
And all those guys you mentioned have all thrown the ball well.
Here's a pitch in there, and it's a good inning for Cam Bedrosian. He comes in, retires 3 in a row, the last 2 on strikeout. 7th inning is coming up in Peoria. Angels have a 6-2 lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Carlos Villanueva on the hill, and his first pitch to start the inning off as we go to the 7th and misses for a ball. Craig Gentry is the batter. He's hitting out a Mike Trout spot. Trout went 1 for 2 today with an RBI single. He also had a walk and scored a run. And Gentry cuts at that one and fouls it back behind the plate. One ball, one strike to count. Rafael Ortega waiting on deck. He's hitting out of Cole Calhoun's cleanup spot. Here's the next delivery, and that one is up and in. We were kind of talking about the Angel bullpen and how it could be put together. How many relievers will be on the bullpen when the season begins? There's when it's fouled back.
Terry, there's a tight seal right now. That's what we can say about that bullpen right now.
There is.
Wow.
Yeah. Now the other thing is you look at the Angel rotation, and I guess the Angels could probably get by using 4 starters initially.
Well, that is the way things are designed right now.
Yeah, because of the way the off days are scheduled in April. Here's a low line drive. It's going to bounce in front of the right fielder, Kemp, and now breaking for second and getting there safely with a hustle double will be Gentry.
Nice. That's how Gentry plays the game. It is welcome here in Angels camp because they are going to use that speed. They need that speed. They need that presence and that right-handed bat.
So Gentry went the opposite way, got that one to just fall in shallow right field. They just said on the PA in our press box that is going to be an error on Matt Kemp.
That's not going to be an error.
That's hard to believe.
That ball bounced in front of him.
No kidding. I mean, maybe you could go single E9.
That's...
And I don't even know.
But even then.
Right. I don't know that that's the right call either. That looked like a hustle double. So they have put an error on the board, but they also have the Angels with 9 hits, so Gentry will get a hit on it. Here's a ground ball hit right to second, fielded there by Amarista. He will throw out Ortega. And that'll be the first out. So 4-3 on the ground out. Moving over to third is Gentry. C.J. CRON is going to bat for the 4th time today. Don't forget, every fan matters when the Angels take on the Texas Rangers. That game at the Big A on April the 8th. Game time 7:05. Fans in attendance will receive a plaid blanket, courtesy of St. Joseph Hoag Health. While supplies last, visit angels.com for tickets. And the pitch that's in there for a strike.
Rafael Ortega once again doing his job, as we are so accustomed to seeing now, getting that runner over on a grounder to the right side.
Here's the next delivery. This is popped up behind the mound. Let's see who's going to call for it. It's the shortstop, and under is Diego Guerres to make the catch on that one, and that is out number 2.
Villanueva showed CRON just enough of the fastball to then get him to chase, get his eyes to get way too big, and then get him on the off speed right off the end of the bat with a big swing.
Here's Petit batting for the first time. He's hitting out a Simmons spot. And Andrelton was 1 for 3 with an RBI single. Here's the pitch on Petit. Breaking ball in there for a strike. But back to the Angels rotation and whether or not the Angels go with 4 starters initially, first week or so of the season, or 5. You have 6 people in the mix right now. So there's Weaver, Tropiano, Shoemaker, Santiago, Richards, and Heaney.
And that's right now without counting on Tyler Skaggs, who soon will be vying for something himself.
There's a fly ball that's lifted to right center field, taking an odd route on that one, but making the running catch is Hunter Renfroe, and that's how the inning will end. Boy, he ended up making a play maybe a little tougher than it should have been, but he gets the job done. Headed now to the bottom of the seventh inning stretch time. Angels lead at 6-2 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Here in the bottom of the seventh, Joe Smith will be pitcher number 3 of the day for the Angels. He replaces Cam Bedrosian, who retired all 3 batters he faced last inning with a couple strikeouts. And the Angels have a new catcher. Jet Bandy will take over for Giovanni Soto.
Good day for Soto, hoping that right hand does not swell up after getting the foul ball off of it last inning.
So the first batter here in the bottom of the 7th inning is the third baseman Brian Schimpf, who has been up twice, a couple strikeouts. Joe Smith has said he works exclusively from the stretch, and a swing and a miss. Count even 1-1.
Always dependable Joe Smith. 146 appearances for the Angels in 2 years.
This is his 7th one this spring. He has given up 12 hits in 6 innings and 4 earned runs.
Joe has had to do multiple roles for the Angels, and maybe one batter, more than 1 inning. He's had to close some ball games, and he's always ready.
Here's the next pitch, and that is a called third strike.
That is a beauty of a frisbee backdoor against Chimp. Wow. Dropping down with a fastball running away. He can also pitch inside very effectively against lefties once they start diving too much. But boy, it's hard to defend against a sweeper like the one we just saw wrapping around the outer half of the plate.
So the batter now is Amarista, who's had a pair of singles. And the first delivery, that's in there. Just checking back on that game yesterday, and the Angels used 6 pitchers. And there was only 1 walk issued by Angels pitching against the Padres. Today against the Padres, no walks have been issued to them. So they have been swinging the bats against the Angels the 2 back-to-back games here.
There's been a couple of nice trends. The one on that aspect you talk about from the pitchers, guys on the mound, and limiting walks, but also on the offensive side, Terry, you look up and down and you don't see a whole lot of red. Just the Angels continue to put the ball in play.
The count jumps to 1-2 here on Amarista. And that pitch a little bit inside, a little low. Padres have more action in their bullpen. Looks like they have a right-hander up, so probably see a new pitcher when we get to the 8th. We're in the 7th right now. 6-2 Angels. Angels got 4 in the very first inning today. And did it, sending 9 batters to the plate in the first inning. Couple home runs today for the Angels. One by Daniel Nava, the other by Jeffrey Marte. Joe is ready, and again the 2-strike delivery. That's fouled back behind the plate.
Looking through the Cactus League, National League, American League, and the Grapefruit League, Terry, the Angels have the lowest number of strikeouts in all of baseball from their batters. 144 strikeouts coming into today.
And that certainly is a good sign. Angels have been scoring a lot of runs, doing a lot of good things offensively this spring. And the other part of it is, coming into the day, the Angels had lost only 2 of their last 16 spring training games.
The bats
leading this one today.
A lot of credit to hitting coach Dave Hansen and Paul Sorrento.
There's a high fly ball that slipped into dead center field out near the rim of the track. Gathering that one in is the Angels center fielder Rafael Ortega. Momentum took him back out onto the track. The little man Amarista gave that one a long ride, but that's out number 2.
Ortega, knowing well about Amarista, of course, took his time, but also played that ball so well on the angle, not only to combat against his son, but also as that ball slicing to his right, he put his body in a good spot just to allow that ball to really find him and center it.
So stepping up, batting for the first time, is Goris, who came into the ball game to take over at shortstop, Diego Goris, and that one is in there for strike 1. He's hitting out of the number 9 slot. And he chops that one foul back behind the plate.
For the Angels on the mound tomorrow against the Chicago Cubs, Nick Tropiano. And then on Tuesday, last game here in Arizona, it'll be Garrett Richards.
2 strikes to count on Goris. He's had limited at bats this spring, and he cuts at that one and misses it. Struck him out. Just his 5th at bat this spring for San Diego. We're headed now to the 8th. Angels still up 5-4, 6-2 on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels will be batting in just a moment as we hit to the 8th inning. A number of changes for the Padres. They have a new second baseman, Josh Van Meter. They have a new third baseman, Nelson Ward. New catcher is Eric Kratz. And the new pitcher is Luis Perdomo. So Perdomo becomes pitcher number 4 of the day for San Diego as he replaces Villanueva, who pitched a couple of scoreless innings, checking the Angels on 1 hit the past 2 innings. And the first pitch, that one is hit well by Jet Bandy into deep left center field. That one is out of here. Bandy batting for the first time today. On the first pitch he sees, drives it out for a home run. Angels add on. It's now 7-2.
Some loud sound for Jet Bandy. Came into this game hitting .375. Some good at-bats all the way around now. 25 at-bats. And he gets into the home run column for his first one of the spring. Well, he continues to get better. On the offensive side, just a more comfortable hitter who knows how to get some lift, get some backspin to let it ride.
So Jet Bandy connecting to start the inning off. Here's the next pitch, and that one is in there for a called strike. Pennington at the plate for the Angels. He's already driven in a run with a single, 1 for 3 day. Takes that one for a ball. So 3 solo shots for the Halos today.
Very impressive to see how the ball and the Angels continue to drive it. NAVA opposite field in the second inning. He went to left center field. Marte hit a shot 0-2 breaking ball against Andrew Catcher. That was back in the 4th, and now Jet Bandy.
Here's the pitch. This is chopped on the right side. The new second baseman has a play, and that is Van Meter, and he will throw out Pennington. That's the first out.
Terry, you were originally talking about rotation options. Here we go. The jumbling begins because there's a couple of off dates here coming. You'll see how Mike Socha is going to work everything out. What we know for one thing is lining up very nicely for Garrett Richards to be the opening day starter, as it should.
Here's the pitch, and that one is cut on and missed by Marte, who's gone all the way at third base for the Angels today. He's had a homer in 3 times up. We'll check out the Sunday Jeep out-of-town scoreboard in just a moment. It's brought to you by the Jeep Cherokee. Estimated 31 miles per gallon highway. It's a perfect choice. Visit Jeep.com for more info. And in the Cactus League, Cleveland leading Milwaukee 6-3. That game in the 6th inning. Here's one that's hit on a hop to short. Goris has it. His throw is in time to get Marte, and that'll be the second out. 2 gone here in the 8th. Elsewhere in Cactus League action, A's leading the Royals 10-1 in the 7th. Texas has a 5-4 lead against a Diamondbacks split squad in the 7th inning. Prince Fielder, his second home run this spring for the Texas Rangers. Seattle up on the Cubs 9-7. That's in the 5th inning. Robinson Cano, a pair of home runs. He has 5 of them this spring for the Mariners.
He's healthy.
There's a ball lifted foul down the right side, and it will be out of the reach of Matt Kemp. Drops in foul territory. Dexter Fowler and Hayward have hit home runs for the Cubs in that ball game. Reds are up on the Dodgers 6-4 in the 6th inning. Chase Utley, his first home run this spring for the Dodgers. Giants have a 6-5 lead against the White Sox. That's in the 5th. And there's one fouled off on the left side. Also, Colorado leading a Arizona split squad 6-5 in the 6th inning. Paul Goldschmidt, home run number 3 for the D-backs. And in that game in Mexico City, the other Padres split squad beat the Astros split squad 21-6. Padres had a 9-run first inning and an 8-run 7th inning in that game.
Taking advantage of that thin air and that elevation of Mexico City, it will travel. And it did.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Johnny Giavotella, his 5th at bat today. Leadoff man for the Angels in this game and DHing today. So game plan was to get him some at bats, and he's getting them. And on the 1-2, that's cut on and missed, and the inning is over. Well, the Angels got the leadoff homer in the inning, though, from Bambi, his first one this spring, and we're headed to the bottom of the 8th. The 7-2 Angels lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels make a couple of changes as Jose Alvarez will come in to pitch. Joe Smith went a 1-2-3 bottom of the 7th with 2 strikeouts. So Alvarez is the new pitcher for the Angels. And there's a new shortstop out there, and he is from South Africa, Anthony Phillips. We've seen him a little bit at shortstop for the Angels this spring. He's moved around a little bit, number of organizations in his pro career. So we're set to get the bottom of the 8th going, and here's the first pitch from Alvarez. That one misses for ball 1. Eric Kratz is the batter. He's hitting out of Jemiah Weeks' leadoff spot. First time up today for Kratz, who's now the Padres catcher. Here's the pitch from Alvarez. That's in there for a strike.
Jose Alvarez started off a little slow in the spring, gave up a couple of early home runs, and he has really settled down. Got his ERA down to 4.26. Only 1 walk and 6 in the 3rd. Even though he has allowed 9 hits, he's got 5 strikeouts. A very dependable Jose Alvarez for Mike Scioscia all season long. Last season, when he would bring him in against tough lefties, tough situations, full innings, multiple innings. Jose, who was one of those guys that takes the ball at any given time, says, former starter, I got to be ready anytime.
There's a little pop into left center field. It's hanging up for Ortega, and he will make the catch on it for the first out. So Kratz is retired. Bottom of the 8th inning. It's being brought to you on this Easter Sunday by our friends at Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana. Rotolo Chevrolet, pursuing excellence every day. You can visit them at Rotolo.com. That's Rotolo.com. Here's Upton, who is still in the ball game. He is 1 for 3 with a homer his last time up. And the first pitch, that's low and outside. Alvarez is ready, and here's Jose's pitch. A cut and a miss. Good off-speed pitch.
Alvarez could be 88 to 92, at times 93. He's not afraid to throw you that fastball, but he's got another way of getting you out, which is off-speed. Good feel for the changeup and that slider and that curveball.
Yep, very good changeup.
And he works fast.
Here's the next pitch. Grounded on the left side off the glove of Phillips, the new shortstop. And by the time he picks the ball up, no chance to get a throw over to first base. So Phillips went a step or two to his left. They're going to give Upton a hit on that one. One out single.
There you go. That ball pretty much ate him up. He was coming in as that ball was also taking off and getting more speed. That hard ground around the shortstop area. He's out of Cape Town, in fact. Anthony Phillips, as he talked about there. He was born in Belleville, South Africa. Lives in Cape Town. He's been playing since 2007. Originally with the Seattle Mariners organization.
And in the Phillies organization, he played independent ball last year. Pitch on its way. That one is in there for a strike. Matt Kemp, the batter, and this is his fourth time up today. Nick Torres has come in to pinch run. He's over there at first base now. The runner at first base replacing Upton. So Torres, who has come in, he's an outfielder. He'll probably replace Upton out in left field as well. Count 0-2 on Matt Kemp. And the next pitch got him looking. Struck him out on 3 pitches.
Jose Alvarez painting and pretty much surprising Matt Kemp on a pitch is just way too close to be taken. It was a strike for Matt Kemp, a veteran hitter. Just enough movement. Last minute, great framing job there by Jet Bandy. Get that call.
So the next batter is Will Myers. He's gone all the way for them as well at first base. He's had a homer in 3 times up. Padres have had 2 home runs today. Angels have had 3. And the Angels have a 7-2 lead here in the bottom of the 8th.
It all started with a very comfortable 4-0 lead in the very first inning, where the Angels sent 9 batters to the plate.
Here's the pitch. That's a little bit inside. Jose Alvarez ready. Thrown 12 pitches so far in the inning, and the next one that goes off the glove of the catcher Jet Bandy, and the runner will move up to second base. The pinch runner Torres. That's going to be a pass ball, you got to think. And that's how it'll be scored.
Yes, a lot of times when you have a little extra zip, a little extra movement, you got to stay with that pitch all the way in and have as flexible as possible receiving. As you can see, if you're watching on TV, how the ball pretty much ate Jet Bandy up.
Bandy's going to go out, have a quick word here with Jose Alvarez as they meet. We want to remind you, if your computer is running slow, you can go to mycleanpc.com and get a free computer diagnosis. I might need one on my computer today, Jose. I've been having trouble staying online.
Yeah, you said might. I think you do.
Well, and anyway, in minutes, you can activate My Clean PC software to clean out the junk that may be slowing down your computer. Visit mycleanpc.com. 2 balls and 1 strike. And here's the next pitch. That's inside, ball 3. 3-1 on Myers.
Besides that great service they provide, I think we all around the booth have a better idea for you. But it involves Benjamins.
3-1 is the count. Yeah, it might be time to Get a new computer. We'll see. Here's one that's chopped to the shortstop. Phillips makes the play on this one. He will throw out Myers, and a good inning for Alvarez. He retires 3 of the 4 he faces here in the bottom of the 8th. So we move to the 9th, and it's a 7-2 Angels lead on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Padres will use their 5th pitcher of the day. Jose Dominguez takes over for Luis Perdomo. Perdomo was tagged for a home run. The first pitch he threw last inning, that home run by Jet Bandy. That was the only run he allowed. He didn't walk and he struck out 1. So Dominguez takes over. They have a new first baseman up from minor league camp, Brad Zuniga. Hunter Renfroe has moved over to right field. Albert Martinez is now in center field. That's where Renfroe had been playing. And Nick Torres is now the new left fielder. First pitch is a ball. G-Man Choi at the plate. His second at bat of the day. He grounded out his first time up. And here's the next pitch from Dominguez. That's in there for a called strike. So we're in the 9th, and the Angels have a 7-2 lead. And the next delivery, that's in there for a called strike. Dominguez working from the stretch. He delivers, and that is low and inside on Choi. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dominguez has been clocked at 103 miles per hour.
He can really bring it.
So this is a power arm right here. He was in the Dodgers organization at one time.
Also a former position player.
And the next delivery, and that is strike 3 on Choi. So that's out number 1.
Pretty much like a no chance there for Choi. Just couldn't see the ball well overall. Just couldn't pull the trigger. And a guy that takes his walks at times has failed to protect the outer half. We saw an example there. As the word gets around so quickly at this level on how to try to finish him off in the outer half.
Dominguez has done a nice job this spring here for the Padres, trying to win a spot on their roster. This is his 8th appearance, and he's had 7 scoreless innings so far. Also a save for them. But he has a good arm, no doubt about that. Here's Gentry batting now, and lifts a fly ball on the right side. It's going to get back to the seats and out of play.
And finding consistency for a guy like Dominguez, who has been blessed with that great arm, has been pretty much just putting together his motion, which is one that really slows down when he throws a breaking ball, as we just saw there. His body really slows down. Of course, it's tough to catch up with something, and he can hang it once in a while, but when he puts it all together and understands more about his mechanics, his whole body as he develops, he's going to be a good one. He'll miss some barrels.
Here's the next pitch. That's fouled off on the right side. He's also had a couple of suspensions because of performance-enhancing drugs.
Yes, he has. Truly embarrassed a couple of times.
Yep. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Gentry awaits the 2-strike pitch, and that is a pitch that didn't miss by much. A little bit inside. 2-2. Angels have scored the 7 runs on 10 hits and have hit 3 homers today. Another very good offensive day for the Angels as that pitch misses. Dominguez thought he might have had Gentry looking on that one, but pitch called a ball. Angels now in the last 5 games, and that includes this one, have scored at least 6 runs in every one of those 5 games. Had 9 yesterday against the Padres.
Terry, keep it up with Langston. Come on now.
And there's a pitch that misses, and that is ball 4. Well,
tell Langston what the magic formula is and keep it going for 162 plus.
Jose, you know the offensive numbers always are a bit inflated here in Arizona for spring training.
Absolutely, yes.
So you kind of have to take all this with a grain of salt, but I'll tell you what, you'd rather be on that end than the bad end, whether they're spring games or not spring games.
As I was talking to you yesterday, what if it's 240, 230? You know how much concern there would be right now, collectively?
Right. There's a 1 hopper out of the reach of the shortstop, Goris, and that'll skip through into left field. So that's going to be a base hit for Ortega. His first hit since coming in. Runners at first and second, 1 out.
He does something well pretty much every single time he takes the field. Again, he moved the guy over from second to third the first time up. And here he goes. Sharp single the other way. Terry, one thing you can really take away is, the numbers are not going to stay like this in a regular season, but the confidence level, the flow of a lineup, the ability that you have as a team collectively as a unit to manufacture runs and pressure the opponent. The regular season is a different monster, but your mentality needs to be one where you always have to believe that at any given point you will be putting some runs on the board.
There's a pitch that's missed by CRON. He's batting for the 5th time today. He's been at first base all game. Here's the next pitch on CJ, and that one is cut on and missed. So he's quickly in the hole, 0-2. Infield is playing it backed up. No shift on with CRON batting, and he cuts at that one and fouls it back to the screen, so he stays alive.
I recall that one spring as we were talking about offense when Mark Trumbo did not, Terry, as you know, did not hit a home run all spring.
Yeah.
Hank Conger hit 4. Well, spring of 2013. Then Trumbo said, okay, here we go. 30 in the regular season.
2 strikes here on CRON. Next delivery they set up inside, and that pitch missed low and in. So it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And just most likely we'll see Jake Arrieta opening night at the Big A, followed by John Lester, and how their Cubs rotation is lining up right now.
Here's the pitch. That's grounded right up the middle, and that's going to be a base hit. It's going to score a run. Angels will have him at the corners. CRON gets his second hit of the day, his first RBI in this ball game, and now it's 8-2 Angels here in the ninth.
Once again, really slows his body down. He's got the zipping fastball, high 90s, triple digits, but you just tip a big league hitter the minimum, and he was going to pick it up, and he is going to make you pay for it.
Eric Aguilar will pinch run for C.J. CRON. Probably take over for him at first base as well. So CRON's day is done, and he was 2 for 4 with an RBI.
Aguilera makes a trip.
Yep, and there's a liner into right field. That's going to be another hit for the Angels. And another run will cross the plate. So that was Petit, first ball swinging. Second time up for him today. He gets an RBI hit. And now it's a 9-2 ball game. So Dominguez, who had pitched well this spring, getting roughed up here.
Oh, he ran into one of the hottest hitting teams here in all of baseball.
So Jet Bandy is the batter, and here's the pitch. That's right in there for a strike.
Sure, the other pattern we've noticed is, as we were talking earlier on the Angels and how often they have put pressure on the pitcher early in the game, but also later in games. Same thing. There's no letting up when it comes down to the switches being made as to what the offense continues to do.
There's a pitch in there for a strike. Yeah, we've seen a lot of early inning runs for the Angels and also a lot of late inning runs. So those are both good signs. Seven-run lead here in the ninth inning. And the next pitch. That's low. Good block on it by the catcher, Kratz. Let's pause for stations to identify themselves on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Jerry Smith along with Jose Mota and our producer engineer Darren Chan with you for Angels Cactus League action here in Peoria. There's a pitch low. It goes right between the legs of the catcher Kratz. He did not do a good job as far as keeping that one in front of him. He'll be charged with a pass ball as the runners advance. Aguilera now the runner at third base. Left the second base Petit.
Boy, from up here it looked like that ball went right through his glove, like it broke the webbing basket, but nope. Just another fastball that had a little too much run there for another catcher, as it happened with Jet Bandy earlier.
They brought the infield in. It could mean a couple more runs. Time called. Bandy asking the home plate umpire Adam Hamari. Now everyone appears to be just about ready. Dominguez has the sign. A look at third, delivers. That pitch is low. So a full count. Anthony Phillips is waiting on deck when he bats. It'll be his first time up today. Here's the next pitch. That's a liner into left field. That's going to drive in a couple more runs. That's going to roll all the way out to the wall in left center field. Stopping at second with 2 RBIs and a double is Bandy, and it's now an 11-2 Angels lead.
Not exactly what Dominguez was waiting for as he tries to cement a job out of that bullpen for the Padres. But what we've seen from him consistently is falling behind in counts and also just What he's missing with that good fastball is right over the heart of the plate.
Well, yesterday when we were in the top of the ninth in Tempe, when the Angels were hosting the Padres, we saw the Padres have that long top of the ninth, and the Angels are doing the same thing here, but just adding on to the lead. It's now 11-2. Phillips is the batter. And we have seen him at the plate this spring for the Angels. Here's the pitch to him here. He cuts at that one and misses it. So the count's even. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. This is only his second at bat. His only other at bat for the Angels. He struck out, so we'll see what he does here with the count 1-1.
11-2 or 2-1 or 1-0. Very special moment right here for Phillips.
Played independent ball last year. Counts 2 balls and 1 strike on the South African. Angels have certainly had an international flair to this ball game. The South Korean Choi in there. South African is in here. Phillips.
You've got Dominicans, you've got Venezuelans, you got Puerto Ricans.
That's right. There's one foul back behind the plate.
All adds to the globalization of baseball. Many academies opening now all across, including Brazil. Many schools in all of Europe.
Here's the 2-2. Phillips with the ground ball. It's hit near short. Charging, fielding it is Goris, and the throw just nips him. That was a close play, very close. So on the play, Bandy stays at second with that ball hit to the shortstop. That's the second out. And now the Angels' 8th batter of the inning is going to step up. And before that happens, it looks like we're going to have a pitching change. So we'll take a break. A pitching change here with 2 outs in the 9th. Angels lead it 11-2. We'll be back with more Angels baseball in just a moment on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. New pitcher for the Padres is Adam Cimber. Last name is spelled C-I-M-B-E-R. Pitched in AA and AAA last year, and he kind of has that old school look with the stirrup socks on as he will get ready to face the Angels with 2 outs here in the 9th.
He's got a unique look and a unique delivery, too.
He's ready, and he slings it in there. Drops down from the side armor, and the first pitch ball. The count 1 ball, no strikes.
It is not very often that you see a pitcher set up with his toe pointing back towards center field.
Yeah, kind of pigeon-toed look as he gets set on the rubber out there. And next delivery, that one misses ball 2. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Marte at the plate, his 5th time up. Some of the Angel hitters have had a lot of at-bats here today.
I like this very animated character out there on the mound. Fun to watch him.
Next delivery, and that one is cut on and missed.
Got the long hair going, got the look. Tall, lanky, side armor. They're pointing that toe backwards, Terry. I haven't seen it. In fact, I haven't seen that before. The way he sets up.
Yep. And here's the next pitch. Swing and a miss. So a couple of strikes now. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Simber is up from their minor league camp, and this is his first appearance for the Padres this spring.
Simber's enjoying the moment, man.
He is.
His time right now.
2-2 delivery, and that is a cut and a miss, and he struck him out.
How about Simber?
The inning is over. Angels do get 4 in the inning and take an 11-2 lead to the bottom of the 9th on the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West. Angels get ready to use pitcher number 5 of the day. Mike Morin takes over for Jose Alvarez. Alvarez worked a scoreless bottom of the 8th, giving up a hit, striking out a batter. And so Mike Morin will be the new Angel pitcher, and Eric Aguilera is the new first baseman. Morin is ready to go as he will deliver from the stretch, and the first pitch, that one is taken for a ball. The count 1 ball, no strikes. Josh Van Meter is batting. This is his first time up. And here's the pitch on the left-handed batter. It's in there for a called strike. Morin has pitched well this spring for the Angels. He's been very solid working out of the bullpen. There's a pitch that's outside. He has not allowed a run in 7 innings. He's allowed only 2 hits, striking out 7. Couple wins out of the bullpen as well. And he seems to have solidified a spot as far as the Angels bullpen going into the regular season. There's when it's fouled back behind the plate. As Van Meter bats here for the Padres. He has had just 2 at-bats for them all spring, 0 for 2. Jose has headed downstairs. He'll visit with Angels manager Mike Scioscia after the ball game. Here's a one-hopper hit to Petit. And the Angels second baseman will throw out Van Meter. That's the first out. Fans, here's a deal for you. $19.95 gets you Proactive plus a rotating deep cleansing brush. It's valued at $45. You're guaranteed to get clear, stay clear, or you'll get your money back. Call 1-800-644-5944. That's 1-800-644-5944. Hunter Renfroe is batting. He's played the entire game, and he swings at the pitch, bloops it in the air into right field. Going back and making a nice catch on that one is the first baseman, Aguilera, who just came in. He was chasing along with Petit, and Gentry was coming in from right field, but that's the second out. One more out to go. Nelson Ward is the batter. We saw him yesterday. He came in late in this ball game. He's playing third base, and this is his first time up for the Padres. Swings from the left side. Here's the pitch, grounded on the right side. Diving stop by Petit, gets up, throws, and guns him out, and the ball game is over. It ends on a sparkling defensive play by Gregorio Petit out there at second base. A clean bottom of the ninth for Mike Morin, and the Angels come away with a lopsided victory here today as the Halos beat a Padres split squad by the final of 11-2. The Angels have now won 5 in a row, 7 of the last 8 here in the Cactus League, and just 2 losses for the Angels in the last 18 games this spring. Angels will get ready to wrap up the Cactus League with back-to-back home games at Tempe Diablo Stadium tomorrow against the Cubs, and then Tuesday will be the final game here in Arizona for the Angels, as the Angels will be hosting the Cleveland Indians. Good ball game today. We want to remind you can be a winner and play in the Gardens Casino new Omaha Progressive Jackpot. Visit thegardenscasino.com for more info, and please play responsibly. Let's go down to Jose and Angels manager Mike Scioscia.
Thank you, Terry. Well, Hector Santiago, what was the idea today? As he was prolonged a little bit more, he went up 7 times. So today, what was the idea behind him?
We wanted to get him up at least 6 and get him to a pitch count, which he got to. We're throwing the ball really well. No need to push him today, and he'll have one more tune-up before we start the season. But just trying to get him to a pitch count, Jose, get him up at least 6 times, and he did that.
Like offensively, there's a lot you can carry on that doesn't translate to numbers in the regular season from here. What are you hoping that the confidence is heading into the regular season from here?
Well, I think right now most of our guys in the lineup and the guys who are going to be pretty much in our starting lineup are finding a comfort zone, and that's great to see. I really like how a lot of our team is more contact oriented. I think we have more team speed, and it showed so up until this point in spring training.
Could this lead perhaps to you having more options for games offensively in the regular season?
No doubt. I don't know if we're quite as deep as if as far as when you're trying to get big bats into the lineup, but there's no doubt that we feel really good about our starting 9. We feel good about some of the versatility in our bench, and I think there's a lot of guys in our lineup that are going to put the ball in play, and we're going to be able to hopefully have some more team speed too.
What are the toughest decisions coming up for you here as things wind down here in Arizona?
Well, there's some tough decisions, and that's a good sign for our team. We certainly have to look at how our pitching staff is going to evolve, particularly our rotation, and then we'll look towards the other side on the offensive side and see what the makeup of our bench is going to be. But there are some tough decisions for sure.
Mike, a happy Easter. Thank you very much.
Happy Easter, Jose. Thank you.
Terry, again, happy Easter to you, and you have a great one, my friend.
You got it, Jose. Happy Easter Sunday to Jose and everyone that has been with us here for today's ball game in Peoria. Again, the final score from the Peoria Sports Complex. The Angels over the Padres 11-2. Those of you watching on TV, Jose and Alex Curry will have a lot more post-game analysis on Angels Live. That's right around the corner. We'll have more for you on the radio side as well from Peoria. This is the Angels Baseball Radio Network and Fox Sports West.